I mentioned before in the video while working on the Stormtrooper bike how I loosen up the bearings and pedals. Well, this is a set of Dominator pedals from Walmart. This one spins just fine after the work I did. The other one is a bit, yeah, but if you can believe it, it used to be far worse because it was completely and utterly locked up. So that's actually not bad. If you want to try and do this yourself, you take your general purpose lube and you get it in there. And you make sure that as much gets in there as possible by turning it. The more you can get to sink down into those bearings, the better. Unless you want to take these apart to get to the bearings from the inside. It's already smoothing out a bit. Yeah. But then you take just a plain old everyday power drill. In this case, it is a Warrior brand from Harbor Freight, $14.99. I didn't get a cordless because I honestly don't need one yet. But you just butt it right up against that and then go. You don't do it for a super long time because you don't want the bearings to get hot. Unless you're willing to go out of your way to completely clean and grease the inside and maybe even put new bearings in, then this is your best option for renewing a pedal. Because honestly, these are $15 pedals from Walmart, 15 or 16, at least last I bought any. And they're good, but the problem is they're only for single speed cranks, or single piece cranks, I mean. Yeah, it's working its way in there fine. One of those bearings is probably really caked in rust. And when that happens, you either take it apart and replace it, or you just deal with it. And let's be frank, since these are for a single piece crank, they're not going to be used on anything particularly valuable. Because usually it's the cheaper bikes, even among BMXs, that have those single cranks. But when you get the lube all over your hands, just make sure you got some hand sanitizer nearby, because it'll take most of that stuff right off. Now, there is one more thing that I wanted to do, and that was update you on these handle grips I replaced the rubber on. They were two completely different makes before, and one of them had an end piece on it, whereas the other one didn't, because hollow tube. But for the other one, I cut the end piece off of it, so it's now a hollow tube, and they're almost exactly the same length. And the plastic is white in this one, so I took a bit of matte black paint and just sprayed the end of it, so now they match. The only thing left is on one of them. See which one is? Not that one. This one, yes. There's a little bit of a blemish in the paint there. So if you're an incredibly anal person about that sort of thing, like I can be sometimes, black nail polish. Get it real cheap just about anywhere. The most generic kind is all you need. But I've used this stuff to touch up paint on black bikes before many times. This one in particular is kind of old, so the cap is a bit stuck. There we go. You make sure not to get too much. Wipe off the excess. And then, just like that, you just carefully run it across. And the scratch disappears. This set of handle grips is more than likely going to go on a clunker eventually, but it's probably going to end up being the cheapest one I sell. Because all the good ones that I'm going to be building, I'm going to be converting to 3-piece cranks and not single-piece cranks. So the cheaper clunkers are going to be a single piece just because it's easier. I won't like it, but if a bike isn't particularly high on the modification priority list, that's what's going to happen. But yeah, little by little, these have taken shape, and I'm going to enjoy seeing whatever I put them on. For now, though, they are what they are.